I can't believe the sheer number of dog trainers, behaviors, vet behaviors that are absolutely lying to people out there. It blows my mind, and a lot of these people don't even know they're lying to you. I want to get into B.F. Skinner and try to simplify it, exactly what he was doing. He wrote a book back in 1973. I believe it was his last book or one of his last books, and it was called About Behaviorism. And everybody, I don't care if you own a dog, parent, whatever have you, everybody should sit down and read that book. Because once you do, and once you understand it, your whole view of the world is going to change. Because what you know is positive reinforcement is not positive reinforcement. In his book in 1973, he went into something he called methodological behaviorism versus radical behaviorism, which is what Skinnerism is. Radical behaviorism is a totally different animal. And what radical behaviorism does, it tells you to swap dog with human. Because that's what Skinner was doing in a lab. He was replacing human with dog, pigeon, and rat. And he did experiments on animals in a lab in order to understand our behavior. Because Skinner understood that the causes of the dog's behavior is no different for the rat, the mouse, the pigeon, or the human. That's the reality. That's why Skinner would tell you as a radical behaviorist, replace dog with human. And what would you do different? He described methodological behaviorism, which is basically the complete opposite. Now, bear in mind, this book was written in 1973, long before dog training became the thing that it is today, the multi-billion-dollar industry, the beast. Robert Cabral's pet care conglomerate. So we're going back, 50 years? What he wrote in that book about methodological behaviorism, there was many, many things, facets to it. Okay? Now, number one, methodological behaviorism essentially, metaphorically, cuts the head off the dog. Okay? It doesn't care about emotions and instincts and whatever have you. It's all about behaviors. Just focus on the behaviors. Not about the causes of the behaviors, because once you cut the instincts and emotions out, and the rest of the body, the limbic system and everything else, guess what? That's all that's left. And that's all they're focused on, is trying to reward and to punish behaviors. But the problem is, for all the dog trainers out there, you're looking at the dog's world through your eyes, when you should be looking at the dog's world through the dog's set of eyes. What does the world look like from that little chihuahua? What does the world look like through the black lab's eyes? What does the world look like through an Irish wolfhound? That's what we need to start doing. Okay? But no, dog trainers are always looking at the dog's world through their own eyes, so they're applying reward and punishment. And that's not what Skinner was all about. Dog trainers would tell you that Skinner was actually training animals in a lab. No, he wasn't. He wasn't training shit. He was using food as a positive reinforcement. And it was the birds were on a variable schedule of freaking reward. Controlled by computers, rudimentary computers. But yet they're telling you to dole out treats. Treats are a secondary reinforcement. That's all they are. And you're replacing yourself with that secondary reinforcer. You're supposed to be the primary reinforcement in your dog's life. Their primary desire. Their primary need. Their primary want. But you're replacing that relationship with your dog with a piece of food. Now, the thing with methodological behaviorism as well, Skinner described it all. I mean, he was describing dog training in a nutshell back in 1973 before dog training really took off. Methodological behaviorism won't allow you to look at the subjective. Everything's objective. You're sweeping subjectivity under the rug. Methodological behaviorism also doesn't allow comparison of human behavior to that of lesser species, and Skinner detailed that in his book. Here's the problem. Radical behaviorism puts us as equals. Okay? There's a reason why dog trainers are out there lying to you, because once you understand that your dog is not that much different from your human kid, and you got to raise them under the same capacity, they have the same needs, wants, whatever have you. They need exercise, they need other dogs. Children need children, but they also need adults. Dogs need children, but dogs also need dogs. But you're being told that your dog doesn't need dogs. Make that make sense. I love dog parks. My dog loves dog parks. He goes apeshit if I don't get him out to a dog park. He wants to get out and not be social. But yeah, dog trainers, that's the number one thing. Don't go to a dog park. Why? Because you can't train a dog to be in a dog park. You're training your dog to be dependent because of methodological behaviorism. You're controlling and managing behaviors instead of stepping back and understanding them, like radical behaviors would tell you. Skinner would tell you point blank that behaviors are the effect. Cause and effect, causality. Something is causing the behaviors. It's cause and effect. But yet trainers have you focused on the effect. Why? Why are you focused on the behaviors? Why are you focused on the aggression? Why are you focused on the reactivity when you should be focused on the cause and what's causing the aggression and reactivity? It's a cortisol response, adrenaline response. Why is your dog building up cortisol and adrenaline in response to certain things in the environment? That's the diagnosis. But methodological behaviorism, dog training, is a solution without a diagnosis. They all talk about the freaking cause. Zach George goes on and talks about the cause all the time. But he never actually gets to the base of it. And you see, here's the problem. In the face of a negative reinforcement, if you're scared of spiders, and spiders are a negative reinforcement to you, at some point you were probably told by your parents or somebody close to you, don't crush a spider, it'll bite you. And every time that's being sold to you, it's a negative consequence. And eventually those negative consequences become the reinforcers, the negative reinforcements that shape your behavior and become your operant conditioning. Does it make more sense when it's explained that way? People think the positive reinforcement is all positive. Oh no. There's a huge dark side to positive reinforcement, and there's a huge good side to negative reinforcement. It's yin and yang. You can't have positive without negative. So any trainer that's out there saying, oh, it's all positive is full of shit. If you walk into a store and buy a lottery ticket, a scratch ticket, and you win $10,000, guess what? That's a positive consequence. And if you keep getting those positive consequences, you're going to keep ponying up, and eventually your positive reinforcement, when those consequences turn into reinforcements, a positive reinforcement, you're now a gambler. That's the dark side of positive reinforcement. That's what trainers don't want you to understand. Positive reinforcement itself is all about the animal's desires, wants, and needs, and the desire to be safe. So what is the dog's positive reinforcement? A state of calm is a big positive reinforcement. That's the default for every animal out there. But yet trainers have you amping up at the dog. People are wondering why the dog is attacking people coming in the door, but yet there's toys all over the freaking house. You're told to redirect that excitement to something more excitement. Redirect it to a toy. Redirect it to a treat. No, redirect it to chasing a freaking RC car out in the bloody yard. Redirect that to a flirt pole. Your dog needs some mental blow-out the lines exercise. But you're always told to mentally stimulate the dog. Dogs are too stimulated. They need to get into a calm state. A radical behaviorist would ask you a question. What do you want from your dog? A dog trainer's opinion of what your dog should be shouldn't matter. You're paying them to do your bidding. But no, the way it is, you're paying them so that you can do their bidding, and you're trying to achieve something that is unachievable. You're watching a 10-minute video on YouTube. You have no idea what goes on in the backyard. When the camera's off, Dog Daddy is out there stringing up dogs on the neck on camera. I can only imagine what goes on when the camera's not on. Let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of trainers out there that are abusing the shit out of dogs and they're getting paid for it, and you've normalized it. If Skinner woke up today and seen a state of dog training being blamed on him, he would go off the frickin' deep end, and I wouldn't blame him. Not one bit. Skinner would be crooked. He would explode at dog trainers, but yet dog trainers will try to argue with Skinner. What they're learning is all about Skinner. I've been watching this game now for the last 15, 20 years. 15, 20 years ago, treats for a use it and lose it tool. A last resort, use them and get rid of them. What are they today? The bloody insurance policy. You got trainers out there screaming, oh, always have a drink bag on your side. Why? If they're such great training tools, you should be able to get rid of them. If you can't get rid of the frickin' tool, then guess what? You're not training the frickin' dog. Dog trainers 15, 20 years ago, e-collars and prongs were a last resort, muzzles were a last resort, crates were a last resort. Today, their insurance policies always leave them on. You know what? Who cares if you leave the dog in the crate for 8 or 10 hours a day? It's just a dumb animal because they cut the friggin' head off the dog. It's methodological behaviorism. And you're not allowed to compare human behavior to dog behavior, remember? That's the reality. And all of this is for money. Do you realize that dog training, the complete total of value of dog training between the dog trainers themselves, all the treats, all the e-collars, prongs, crates, muzzles, and everything else that shouldn't be in your hands, are worth over $100 billion a year? And where do you think that money's coming from? Methodological behaviorism. The quarters of dog training. And it's all garbage. What dog trainers call positive and negative reinforcement is actually primary inducements and secondary inducements. What they're calling the punishment quadrant is positive and negative punishment is actually primary compulsive inducements and secondary compulsive inducements. Why do you think balanced dog training is known as compulsion-based dog training? Conrad Most, ladies and gentlemen, read the frickin' book, Training Dogs. You can buy it online. If you go over to Learberg.com and search Conrad Most book, they're telling you point blank, Learberg's one of the biggest balance companies in the world. And they tell you point blank, they're honest about it. They're telling you point blank that today's modern dog trainer can trace their roots right back to Conrad Most, not B.F. Skinner. It's a lie. It's all a lie. You're being scammed. And you're afraid. I couldn't imagine being afraid of my dog, or from my dog, or what my dog's going to do. But they want you afraid. They want you trauma bonded to their dog. Why do they want you trauma bonded? Because all you ever hear is hire a trainer because you can't do it on your own. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Once you understand that behaviors are all about causality, and you're focused on the effect when you should be focused on the cause, you don't even know what's causing your dog's behaviors, do you? Nobody's ever asked you. You notice how you get into Facebook groups and whatever have you, you make a post, and all of a sudden you're attacked by all this information. Nobody knows shit about the dog. Not one person is asking questions. Most times the breed is not even involved. But yet everybody's offering suggestions. There's all solutions. Throw some spaghetti at a wall, see what sticks. But yet when you come into the group, Radical Behaviorism for Dog Aggression and Reactivity, we actually ask you questions. And I think a lot of owners get turned off by that because we're trying to get to understand why the dog is acting the way it is. That's it. That's applied behavior analysis. It's applying the understanding of the bloody cause of the behaviors. If your dog is bouncing off the frickin' walls, and that's a common thing for pit bulls, man, I feel bad for pit bulls. Pit bulls need to blow out the frickin' lines. They need some mental exercise, man. I've worked with pit bulls. They're my primary clients. Nobody else wants to work with them. They're all scared of them. But I've met pit bulls that were running at a frickin' 6, 7 out of 10 all day. They're like a freight train. They can't stop. They can't shut down. Now you put that on a leash and take it for a walk. It's not going to take long to get to level 10 and bad shit happens, doesn't it? But yet, all of my clients, flirt pole is the number one tool that saves pit bull lives. Get on YouTube and watch pit bulls chasing the flirt pole. Okay? You talk about acrobatic. It beats them out. It's the chase that they need. It's the mental blow the lines exercise. Guess what? Take your dog and put it on a flirt pole for as long as he needs, and you let the dog decide when he's done. And then take your dog for a walk. Do you see changes? Most of these behavioral issues are the effect of not having proper exercise. That's the cause. Number one cause of every behavior today is the dog doesn't have a purpose in life, they don't have a job. They don't get to chase. Every bloody breed out there, except for a few like Chihuahuas and whatnot, are bred to chase something. Huskies are designed to pull, chase the wind. Labrador Retrievers were bred to chase dead ducks. Hunting dogs are bred to chase prey. Guess what? Your Aussie Shepherd and your German Shepherd. Your Belgian Malinois is also known as Belgian Shepherd. They're herding dogs. They're bred to chase. But how many dogs today get to chase anything? They get 2 walks a day and a toy on the couch? You think your German Shepherd is going to be happy with 2 walks a day and a freaking toy on the couch? No. They need to get out and chase something. I guarantee you, once you start cutting off the causes, it's like peeling an onion. You start with good exercise and good, start building that relationship. Start building the trust. You get your dog out and you start getting some breed-specific exercise. And you're peeling that layer. What are behaviors left over? What behaviors went extinct on their own because of it? And what behaviors left over? Now we got to find the cause of these other behaviors. Think about it this way. If a cause is medical, say hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism is running rampant today. And one of the side effects of hyperthyroidism, by the way, is unexplained allergies. And how many dogs today have allergies? Get your dog's thyroid tested. One of the big side effects, though, of hypothyroidism is actually aggression, behavioral issues, okay? But yet people focus on the behavioral issues. They focus on the aggression. They focus on the reactivity. If you don't know that your dog is hypothyroid, and 2 simple pills a day will treat that. Once you treat the hypothyroidism, guess what? The behaviors as a result are going to go away as well. They're going to go extinct. So listen to your trainer next time you talk about extinction. Once you fix the cause, the behaviors associated with that cause are going to go extinct on their own. So again, if you fix the hypothyroidism, all the behaviors resulting from the hypothyroidism are going to disappear on their own. That's called extinction. But I'm the asshole. I'm the crazy person, right? Isn't that simple to understand? Fear aggression is another big one. Belong to methodological behaviorism. They're telling you your dog is aggressive. It's fear aggressive. And that's 2 words put together to scare you. That's all it meant to do. If I turned around and told you point blank that your dog in actuality is showing aggression because they're afraid, would that make sense? If I put you into a fear state, guess what? You're going to show aggression. I will fully expect you to show aggression. You're going to go fight or flight. And that's all behaviors are. What is aggression and reactivity? It's funny how trainers never define the word. Aggression and reactivity are nothing more than fight or flight. And what causes fight or flight? Cortisol responses. When your brain, your limbic system of your brain, is your control center for all your emotions, which are also your instincts that drive all your behaviors. You've heard that, right? Instincts drive behaviors? Yeah, it's true. Does it make sense? Yes, it does. You know, if all of a sudden you're a first-time grandma and the granddaughter or your daughter shows up with a baby for the first time ever, your happiness is going to drive your behavior to go, hey, give me the baby. But yet, if I get around a dirty diaper, I'm going to get the emotion, the instinct called disgust, and I'm going to be in the toilet. That's going to be the outcome of my behaviors. If you stub your toe and start screaming, the scream is a behavior. You're dancing around holding onto your toe. Most trainers will shove treats in your mouth or wrap a e-collar around your neck and start shocking you to shut you up. I want to fix your toe. Radical behaviors wants to fix your toe. Methodological behaviorism, dog training doesn't give a shit about your toe. That's the reality. And once you understand that, I don't know how else to explain it to people. You're being lied to by a group of people. A lot of these people don't even know they're lying to you because they learn what they learn. They learn all about Skinner. They never actually sat and read Skinner. I've been watching this game for the last 15 years, and let me tell you something. I am sick and tired of seeing dogs being put down for behavioral euthanasia, for behaviors. Once you understand what a behavior is, then euthanasia is off the table. Punishment is off the table. Skinner openly opposed punishment. There's a reason for it because behaviors are not punishable. Behaviors have a cause. And if all you're going to do is punish them, all you're going to do is suppress it. And let me tell you something. If you don't fix the cause, you're going to start realizing that your dog's behaviors are going to get worse and worse and worse. Why? Because the cause is going to grow heads trying to express itself. If you don't fix the freaking cause, the dog's going to end up dead at some point. And that's the problem with methodological behaviorism. They don't care about the cause. The cause of your dog's behavior is chemical, is hormonal. Every behavior you make is hormonal. Okay? Why is the dog producing hormones? Why is the dog producing cortisol? If you're afraid of spiders, whenever you see a spider, you're going to fight and flight. Your limbic system is going to send a chemical signal to your friggin' adrenal glands to say, you know what? Up to cortisol and adrenaline. But yet I have no fear of spiders. So when I see a spider, I get a fight response. I go over and pick it up. Why? What is fear and anxiety but lack of trust and understanding? If you're afraid, you don't trust that thing. I trust it because I understand it. There's no venomous spiders around here. I've never been bitten by a spider. I love spiders. So why are you having a fight and flight response to a spider and I'm not? Why is your dog having a fight or flight response to something in the environment and Monty could give a shit? That's what we need to start asking. Why is your dog acting out? But methodological behaviorism doesn't care. Radical behaviorism does. See, any trainers out there that are telling you that I'm full of shit, you tell them to stick their face on a podcast. My email is robert@yourdogsnotbroken.org. Any trainer out there that's telling you that I'm full of shit, I want to get them on a Zoom podcast. If they're not willing to get on a Zoom podcast and defend their lives, guess what? Walk away and come and talk to me. Have a good night.